Hello everyone, I hope you've all been having a beautiful and magical November so far, and I also hope you're looking forward to all of the excitement that is upon us. We are officially in the holiday season, which is amazing. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I was out of the country for 6 weeks in the middle of autumn. So I'm here just soaking in these last few days and enjoying my fall decor before I take everything down on the weekend and start decorating for Christmas. I wanted to share with you all a cozy night routine for these colder months, something to hopefully give you a little bit of inspiration to carve out a day of the week to practice some self-care, pamper yourself, and just allow yourself to indulge in what makes this time of year so incredibly special. My favorite parts about these colder months are all of the comforting dishes that we make. I love a good stew, a soup, or really any dish that incorporates some type of pumpkin or squash. So when I saw these cute pumpkin-shaped gnocchi on Instagram, I knew I wanted to recreate them before the season was over. So I found a recipe online for pumpkin gnocchi, and I will leave that linked below for you all. And I turned the gnocchi into these cute little pumpkins. This was a little labor intensive, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like the result was worth it. So I knew when I made this that I wanted to pair it with something that was comforting, creamy, and rich. So I made a brown butter based sauce with some shallots, a little bit of garlic, and some white wine, and then reduced that down. And then after that was reduced, I added in some heavy cream and reduced that down a little bit further, just until the point where the sauce coats the back of a spoon and holds a line. And the minute that I saw there was pumpkin in this recipe, I knew I was going to add sage to this dish in some form. To me, sage is the quintessential cold weather herb. I always associate it with Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner. And the best preparation, in my opinion, is by making it crispy in some brown butter. It just elevates any dish. It's so good. So after that, I added some grated Parmesan cheese to the sauce and set that aside while I boiled the gnocchi. And then once the gnocchi was floating and completely cooked through, I transferred it over to a saucepan with some melted butter to caramelize the bottom. I find this gives it a better flavor, but also a much nicer texture. These gnocchi were absolutely delicious. They were tender and fluffy, but they still had a really great bite to them. And of course, with the addition of the pumpkin and sage, they tasted like the quintessential cold weather dish. These will definitely be a staple for me going forward. I don't know that I will always turn them into pumpkins, but this was actually a really easy recipe and I highly recommend giving it a try. Once we were finished with dinner and tidying up, I wanted to make a treat for Sebastian and myself to enjoy with our movie. So I made us a hot chocolate with an autumnal twist. This hot chocolate was so rich and decadent. It was almost like a drinking chocolate. It would probably be really good with like biscuits or some type of biscotti. This was hands down the best hot chocolate I've ever had. The pumpkin, which I was unsure about at first, made it so incredibly velvety and luxurious, and then the Lindor balls made it decadent and rich. This is the perfect nightcap and hot chocolate to enjoy with a cozy movie night. So if you're curious about the recipe, I will leave it in the description bar below for you all. So we curled up on the sofa to watch one of my all-time favorite movies, You've Got Mail. I will forever associate this movie with the holiday season. All of the scenes of fall and winter in New York are so iconic and beautiful. No matter how often I watch it, I never get tired of this movie. So then after the movie was over, to wind down for the evening, I poured myself a glass of Pinot Grigio to enjoy with a relaxing bath. And honestly, to me, this is the ultimate cozy evening indulgence. There's nothing as cozy as taking a candlelit bubble bath with a glass of wine, some jazz, and a good book. For me, a Lush bubble bar is essential for a good bath, so I'm using a variation of my favorite permanent bubble bar from Lush, which is the Sunnyside bubble bar. There's so much shimmer in this bubble bar, it looks like there is sunlight actually dancing inside the water. One of my favorite ways to set the mood for a really great bath is by setting up my iPad on my bath caddy and then going to a cozy coffee shop channel and listening to some jazz. And I highly recommend checking out one of these channels if you haven't done so already. After I'm done with my bath, I head back downstairs to make myself some tea so that I can have something nice and calming to drink before bed. This cinnamon chai tea from David's Tea is so festive for this time of year, and it's the perfect tea for before bed because it's comforting, but it doesn't have any caffeine, so it won't keep you up. While I'm waiting for my tea to steep, I start with my nightly skincare routine. As always, to remove my makeup, I'm using the Pharmacy Green Clean Cleanser. This is by far my favorite cleansing balm. I've tried tons of different cleansing oils and balms, and I always come back to this one. So after I've done my initial cleanse, I go into some micellar water for a second cleanse just to remove any makeup that I might have missed. So from there, I apply my SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic Vitamin C Serum. This is one of my holy grail products. This has such a huge impact on my skin, the clarity and the tone. Following up from that, I use the SkinCeuticals HA Intensifier for extra hydration, and then follow up that with the Retin A Micro Tretinoin Gel, and I press that into my skin. And then once that has absorbed, I use the Paula's Choice BHA Serum. This is one of the items I would bring with me on a desert island. It has an immediate effect on how clear and nice your skin looks. Finally, I follow that with the SkinCeuticals Triple Lipid Restore Moisturizer. This is super luxurious and works really well if you use retinoids. So once my skin has dried, I finish everything off with a spritz of hypochlorous acid spray, which is anti-inflammatory and antibacterial. Once I'm in my bed, I moisturize my legs, and I do this after every shower and bath so that the moisturizer really sinks into my skin. I always start with the Necessaire Retinol Body Lotion, which is more like a treatment and makes my legs incredibly soft and smooth. But for fragrance, I follow it up with the Byredo Bal d'Afrique Body Lotion because it smells divine. Before I go to sleep, I have some of my tea and read a little bit more, and then it is nighttime for Sebastian and me. I hope you all enjoyed this cozy nighttime routine and that it inspired you to take some time out of a day to practice some self-care. So thank you all so much for watching, and sweet dreams.